Here's the simple version of the biggest story in the world right now. The United States and Israel are at war with Iran. Not in theory, not in warnings, not in diplomatic language. In reality, airstrikes have already hit Iranian cities, nuclear facilities, military sites, and civilian locations. Hundreds are dead. More than 100,000 people fled Tehran within 48 hours. Oil markets have been thrown into chaos. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important waterways on Earth, is now at the center of a global crisis. This is no longer just a conflict between Iran and Israel. This is a regional shockwave with global consequences. So, let's start at the beginning. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched coordinated airstrikes on Iran. Their stated objective was to cripple Iran's nuclear program, destroy its ballistic missile capabilities, and, in their words, free the Iranian people from a theocratic regime. The first night was catastrophic. A Tomahawk missile hit a school in Tehran, killing at least 175 people, most of them children. On the same day, a sports hall in southern Iran was struck, killing 20 more, including teenage girls. Within 48 hours, 100,000 people had fled the Iranian capital, and the strikes did not stop there. Over the weeks that followed, oil depots, nuclear facilities, military sites, and even culturally significant landmarks were hit. By March 21st, Iranian state media reported more than 1,500 people killed since the war began. The Iranian Red Crescent Society said more than 80,000 civilian sites had been struck. Iran responded fast. Within hours of the first strikes, Tehran began restricting passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian missile barrages reached Tel Aviv and northern Israel, causing widespread damage. Then the conflict escalated again. Israel intensified strikes on nuclear and industrial targets inside Iran in a 48-hour surge. Trump warned Iran that if it did not fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the United States would destroy its power plants. Iran answered by saying it would completely shut the strait if that happened. Now pause for 1 second, because it is easy to get lost in the scale of this story. 175 people killed in one school on day one. Whatever your politics, that is the human reality underneath the geopolitical chessboard. And that reality matters before we talk about oil prices, shipping lanes, markets, or ceasefire proposals. Because this is not just an Iran-Israel story. It is a Middle East story, and increasingly, it is a global one. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important oil choke points on the planet. Under normal conditions, roughly 1/5 of all the world's oil passes through it every single day. Iran has effectively shut that pipeline down, allowing only a small number of ships through, and only with Iranian permission. For Gulf states like the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait, that creates an impossible situation. Their economies, exports, and relationships with both Washington and Tehran are suddenly under pressure at the same time. Iranian counterattacks have also reportedly targeted Gulf infrastructure. Lebanon matters too. Israel has been striking Hezbollah positions simultaneously. Hezbollah is backed by Iran and has its own long history of conflict with Israel across the Lebanese border. And the regional calculation goes even further than Lebanon. Iran still has proxies and aligned groups across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Those relationships do not disappear just because Iran has been hit from the air. They could still activate. Then there's the question nobody can answer cleanly: Iran's nuclear program. The United States and Israel say they have significantly degraded it. Iran has not confirmed how much damage has actually been done. That uncertainty alone is enough to keep the entire region tense. On the market side, oil has become the headline number. Brent crude surged close to $120 a barrel during the peak of this conflict, roughly a 50% increase since the war began. When ceasefire talk appeared in the news earlier this week, oil dropped back toward $100 a barrel. Global stocks have also been sliding in what financial media calls a risk-off environment. Investors are moving away from equities and towards safer assets like gold and U.S. Treasury bonds. And the fuel shock is hitting ordinary people too. This is not a contained financial story. Diplomatically, the Trump administration presented a 15-point ceasefire proposal to Iran. It reportedly included Iran giving up control of the Strait of Hormuz and ending its nuclear program. Iran rejected that proposal and countered with a 5-point plan of its own, including reparations for damage caused by the strikes and formal recognition of Iranian sovereignty over the strait. As of March 28th, both escalation and negotiation were happening at the same time. Israel said its attacks would expand. Trump said there were advances in ceasefire talks. That combination is not unusual in modern conflict, but it makes the next 72 hours genuinely difficult to predict. First, whether the Strait of Hormuz reopens even partially, because that would likely push oil prices down quickly. Second, whether mediators, reportedly including Pakistan and Egypt, can build a framework both sides can accept without losing face. Here's where I'll leave you. This conflict is only a month old, and it has already killed more than 1,500 people in Iran, caused billions of dollars in damage across the region, disrupted energy markets worldwide, and brought one of the most important waterways on the planet close to a standstill. And until something changes at the Strait of Hormuz or at the negotiating table, this crisis is not going away.